Ladies and gentlemen, one thing I can honestly tell you, it is hard to live in the Northeast and you're broke. It really is. This is not an easy place to be broke in. The Northeast, the cost of living is high and property taxes are outrageous in a lot of these northeastern states in the US. Now, for example, here in New Jersey, we lose more people than folks moving in from other places. And it's been like this even when I was a child. The property taxes in the state of New Jersey are outrageous, but there are some things, there's some perks, but there's a lot of drawbacks. Now, one perk is gasoline prices tend to be a lot cheaper. In fact, I used to work with people that lived in Pennsylvania, but they would only get their gas in New Jersey. And some would even drive from Pennsylvania across the bridge when they need to gas up and get a full tank of gas because it was just so cheap. And another thing is groceries tend to be cheaper in the state of New Jersey because we pay a higher price for property taxes. Groceries are cheaper. And that was another thing. I knew people from also Pennsylvania that I worked with. They would always do their grocery shopping only in New Jersey. They wouldn't do any over in Pennsylvania because they said the prices were just crazy. And some of the items they were telling me, some of the prices over in Pennsylvania, they were double on the items that they were paying for in New Jersey. So there are some perks, but there's a lot of drawbacks, and the cost of living is definitely one of them. This story is about New York. Right now, the people that are leaving New York is exploding. And it's to the point where even the governor is concerned about the amount of people that are leaving New York. Now, New York is, again, you know, if you are broke, the Northeast is a tough place to be if you are a person that don't have a lot of money. It's a tough place to be. And, COVID has claimed a lot of New York jobs. And many of these folks are relying on the unemployment and whatever crumbs the politicians decide to throw at us. And you just can't make it in a place like New York. You look at the apartment prices there opposed to the state that I'm in, it's like day and night. So, where are New Yorkers going? A big chunk of them are going to Florida. They are leaving New York permanently and going to Florida. So, ladies and gentlemen, it is setting off alarms with the amount of people that are leaving. So, this is actually a partner paper of USA Today, Low HUD, and New York again leads nation in population decline. And it could now lose 2 House seats. And New York was losing a lot of people even before COVID, but since COVID, it has really gone through the roof. It has gone through the roof for real. The Big Apple continues to get smaller. New York population continues to decline more than any state in the nation, and new figures released Tuesday by the U.S. Census Bureau. The Empire State's population fell by 126,355 people between July 2019 and July 2020. 19.3 million, a drop of 0.6%, 65%. So this is according to the preliminary figures. That is the most of any state by total and percentage. The population decline continues to be a problem for New York, and it could play out all the way till 2022 during the federal reappointment. At this point, New York could lose as many as 2 U.S. House seats. It is, it will certainly make a difference for real. for New York if they lose two seats. Not only that, New York could be on its way to its first population decline in any decade since the 1970s, according to the Empire Center, a fiscally conservative link. Uh, okay, so this is a think tank. The New York population has been boosted by immigrants and new births, but even that has tailed off in recent years. So they're not even getting as many immigrants as they once used to get in New York. Usually, New York was the place to go. Those immigrants would always get those taxi car driver jobs. You go to New York and you see the taxi car drivers, they are always foreigners, and they would always flock there. And a lot of times driving those taxis would be their first jobs, in the state of New York until they eventually go on to do something else. So the 2020 estimate, New York population represented a net decline of 41,326 or 0.21 from the official decennial census count, which was in 2010, largely because foreign immigrants into the state has fallen off sharply since 2017. So now when foreigners come here, they don't head to New York like they used to. See, heading to New York from any other country was a big deal back in the day, you know, and they would always try to aspire to be in New York. But that has sharply declined, as you can see. That is not the preferred place for foreigners anymore. So it's been dropping off since 2017 in line with the national trend. So right now, New York had the biggest decline in the nation from 2019 2020, and the trend is continuing into 2021. The second state with the largest population drop is California, and then that's followed by Texas. A lot of people are leaving out of Texas too. So, it seems like a lot of these big states are seeing some of the biggest changes in the country. Florida surpassed New York in 2014, which was the third largest state in the nation, and the gap has widened since. So Florida has gained 241,256 people since July 2019 to 21.7 million. And a lot of that is New Yorkers moving to Florida. That's where the bulk of it is. My family, they've been trying to get me to leave New Jersey and come to either Georgia or Florida, because that's where the bulk of them are. So I'm not surprised so many people are going there, especially, Florida has always been the preferred place for retirees. They would just flock down there and get their condos or, live in a closed community where it's gated and everything. That was really a big thing. In fact, one of my former neighbors did that. She retired, sold her house, and she lives in Florida now in a condo. Okay. All right. So, and Texas seems to be one of those states that is gaining a lot of people from California, believe it or not. Because, California got a big exodus going on too. And those folks are all heading towards Texas. I guess that's a good idea if you're used to living in a warm state and you still want to remain in a more warmer climate in America, then that's a pretty smart move. And I know the cost of living got to be way cheaper than California there in Texas. So that's where Texas is getting a big bulk of their population is coming in there from California. So New York has had an exodus over the past decade. of about 1.4 million people, and about 21% of them went to Florida, by far the most of any state, data last year showed. New York latest drop was part of the overall decline of 153,065 people in the Northeast between July 2019 and July 2020, the most of any region in the nation, which I'm not surprised. Like I said, the Northeast is very expensive to live in. I know we keep hearing about other locations being expensive in the US. This is way more expensive. I mean, if you just go down south from here, you can live a lot cheaper, pay less in property taxes, and, you know, it's just a much easier life to me, being in the South, just even being in the South than it is in the Northeast. So New Jersey, Massachusetts, Pennsylvania, Rhode Island, Vermont, and Connecticut all had a modest population decline over the past year. All in the Northeast. All in the Northeast, not surprised. Nationally, only Illinois neared New York in percent of population decline. It went down 79,487 people, or 0.63% since last year. Overall, the nation has gained nearly 21 million people since 2010, the Empire Center said, up from 6.7%. Governor Andrew Cuomo has downplayed the population drop. He is concerned about it because I've heard him mention it. He is concerned. And he faces a lot of criticism over the high taxes driving people to less expensive states. But New York has always been very expensive in taxes. They have. You know, I remember even going to New York because I used to have to go to New York for meetings on my last job. And I would go up there. I could not believe what the prices were for the same items in New Jersey. Some of it was like almost triple the price of what we were paying. I was like, damn, this is crazy. Like I said, it's not an easy place to be broken. All right. In 2018, Cuomo was knocked for saying upstate winter weather was a significant factor for people moving elsewhere. That's not true. The prices in New York is the reason, and that's the overall reason for people leaving. More people are leaving the upstate net. Yes. So, upstate New York, where it's probably more laid back than living in the city, they're losing more people. People will make demographic choices about where they want to live, Cuomo said 2 years ago. No, it's not the climate. The New Yorkers have been living in that cold weather, warm weather situation forever now. It's not that. It's the prices. So Cuomo has pointed to lower taxes to be installed by his administration, and a property tax cap that has limited the growth since 2011 as a way, for the state to try to lower the cost of living. Well, good luck, because I don't think those folks that left are coming back. I really don't, you know. And the Northeast, you don't have nobody but yourself to blame for inflating prices for so long. Now, they really technically, how are they going to make it if they lower the prices? The state, economically would just fall, you know? But again, this is just a sign of poor leadership and why the cost of living has gone through the roof, and it's greed. It's poor leadership and greed that got these states in the condition that they are in economically, to the point it's not even appealing to be here. It's not. And I can tell you the exodus will probably accelerate as COVID continues to get worse in the nation. You're going to see a lot of people moving around, and they're just trying to escape these tougher ways of living that they've been under for a long time. But y'all, please tell me what you think. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.